In this recording, I'm going to review custom surfaces, how we create those in ArchiCAD. It should be a pretty simple video. There's a lot to it, but let's just start with what's in ArchiCAD out of the box. So if we go to Options and Surfaces, right? In here we have all of our list of surfaces in ArchiCAD with the default template settings. If we click here under New, we can duplicate an existing one and manipulate it, change the surface image, change the texture, change the reflection, color, transmission, all of that stuff. We can dial that in. But there's also the new from catalog, and the catalog is going to be the loaded libraries in your ArchiCAD file. There's a default surface catalog pack here. So if we go to, let's say wall covering, for example, wall finishes, there's some tile surfaces in here, not a whole lot. If you have the SA or SSA or SAAS or whatever they're calling it now, the additional surface catalog should be available to you. If not, I can help you download that. But there is an additional surface catalog that gives you a more extensive list of surfaces available. The nice thing about these surfaces is that they do come with their surface image and their cover fill sort of corresponding to each other. These are what I would consider like good enough starting points to get a project rolling. They're never going to be the exact surface that you're looking for, the exact tile, the exact siding, paint color, etc. Important things to note about surfaces: if there is a texture image, it's going to utilize that. If there is no texture image, let's say dark gray, for example, it's going to utilize the surface color. For the elevation view, we have the cover fill here. We will take a look at creating custom cover fills as well, but the cover fill pattern and its pen are what shows up in your elevation. So for example, the brick herringbone has a brick herringbone pattern right here. So let's take a look at creating a custom surface. So I just have this, this screenshot. Now obviously I would want to make sure that this is tiling out correctly. I didn't want to waste time having you watch me Photoshop out a surface, but if you do have Photoshop and the ability to Photoshop out the surface, you want to make sure that the pattern repeats. If this is my repeating pattern, this is what I want to show. I'm going to start, first of all, make sure that it's at the right scale. I just took the PNG and I drug it into here, into the plan view. It's 12 inches across. I'm going to use the line tool. And I do apologize for making you watch me draft here, but I want to kind of show what's going on with this pattern. So you have to use lines. You cannot use polylines. And bear with me for a couple of minutes while I draft this out. Let me grab all of these and we'll make those stand out just a little bit. All right, so now I can see what I have. Oh, that's also why. They don't have to be solid, but I'm going to go ahead and make those solid here. Right, so if and I might just cut this short. I don't necessarily need to draft the whole thing out. We just need to be able to see the pattern at its full width and height, which should be 12 inches by 12 inches for this pattern. Bear with me for a couple more seconds. What else am I missing here? I think I have that one. So the other thing is you can actually use fills. So let's just say like the blue squares in here are ones that I want to actually represent as a solid fill with their surface pen. Let's use like the 100% fill, and we'll do one of these guys. It doesn't matter. The pens of this don't matter. The pens of the lines don't matter either. But the only tools you can use are fills, lines, and arcs. You cannot use polylines. You cannot use splines. So just fills, lines, and arcs. So in this case, I'm going to just trim these up just a little bit. And again, we can verify that our pattern is working before we even create anything. And like I said, I would highly recommend that you take the time to make sure that this pattern here is tiling correctly before we save it, right? So that this lines up with no seams. So if this is the pattern that I need to show, you can see here that I'm actually missing some lines. We'll go ahead and throw those in. Anyway, so this is the pattern I want to show. You can see that if I were to copy that over, that's going to match the mismatched pattern that I have in the JPEG as well. But what I'm going to do here is Control C or Command C. I'm going to copy this to the clipboard. I'm going to start by going to Fills. So Options, Fills. I'm going to create a new fill. And we'll call it Mosaic Tile 1. We're going to make this a symbol fill. It's very critical that you start with a symbol fill. That gives you this paste option. You can then paste that pattern. And here you can see the issue with not having it tile out is that it doesn't tile out properly. But if I had drafted it up carefully so that it was self-tiling, it would be. Here I could see the scale of this thing. Let's go ahead and make this 1 by 1 so that it matches. You see that it overlaps the kerning and everything. So again, you want to take care to make sure that it's all tiling correctly. And then before I say okay, I want to make sure that this is applied to a surface fill. So I don't need it for a cut fill, I need it for a surface fill and maybe for a drafting fill if I want to do some interior elevation work. And then from there we're going to say okay. And after that we can go into our surfaces. And let's just start with like wall tiles, for example. Go ahead and reserve this because it is a teamwork file. And we're going to say new. And here we are actually going to duplicate this. So we'll say wall tiles, mosaic. Okay. And this is where we can apply that surface fill because we define that custom fill as a surface fill. It's going to show up in this list. This is going to be the default pen. So generally I'll use like this group of pens right here. If it's sort of a really big, maybe it's a 2 foot by 4 foot big slabs, maybe I use like a darker pen. This is kind of a really tight mosaic pattern. So maybe I'm using like this or this pen, like sort of a medium or light, even really light pen. And then in here, I can click this little browse option. I can say add, it's going to dump it in my embedded library. Here I would want to actually give this a name. So we'll call this Mosaic Tile 001. I can find that here. It has to be a PNG or a JPEG. So we'll go ahead and open this. We'll say okay. And here I want to set the length and the width so that it matches my, my mosaic tile pattern right here. And after that, that should be it. There are a couple of other things worth considering. I generally keep the emission color black. Let's turn the specular glow black as well. We can go to our grayscale sliders and make that black so we're not creating any glow. Sort of the magic combination here for reflection is 85, 85, 10, and 12. That'll give you like a matte to semi-gloss pattern. We can actually even preview to verify that, yeah, that's exactly how I want it to tile out. Obviously, that's not in this case, but I just grabbed a random screenshot rather than taking the time to Photoshop it. Just cropped it down. So that's the pattern I want. That matches that. We'll say OK here. And now on any of my model elements, let's take the floor slab, for example, and apply my mosaic tile here. I can use a cover fill. I can say use the fill from the surface. Here I do have to actually manually match that because it's not going to match the pens. But you can see what happens. Whatever I save as a fill here comes in as a solid. Whatever I save as a line comes in as a solid. So that's why these pens don't really matter because it just uses the fill pens. Let's go ahead and eliminate these and just see what happens when we take this same thing without any of those fills. So we'll take that, copy it, we'll go up to options, and we'll go back to our one second, we'll go back to our fills, and we'll paste that in without those fills. Now you can see that eliminates that stuff. So that's why usually I'll put this on like a hidden layer, and that's one of the reasons that we have this custom objects. So what I might do as well is whatever the fill name was, what do we call it, Mosaic 001 or whatever it was, so that I know what I'm saving that over the top of, and then take all of this stuff and put it on that hide layer, the temp hidden layer, so that when I need to make adjustments, I can come back in here, adjust this, and update that fill accordingly. If we look at that slab here in 3D, right? It has that same pattern because we applied that surface to it. So there's a quick video on creating custom fills in ArchiCAD.